welcome to Culture of Paint. In this episode, we're going to take a look back at what's caught our eye over the last couple of weeks in the miniatures painting world. And for our main segment, we're going to be making some predictions and talking about our expectations for the upcoming Warhammer Fest and Golden Demon UK. And we'll close out the show, as usual, taking a look at what the hashtag Paint Cultists have been up to. Now, Culture of Paint's aimed at a mature audience, and we might use explicit language and discuss adult themes. Now let's talk about paint. Oh, look at all these people in the chat. What friendly.
Les chat.
It's the hellos. There's a bonjour in there. Loving that.
That's
howdy. All that, eh? Multicultural, multinational, international. Bosh.
For Tom's
when
benefit.
Are we going to see the Warhammer from Warhammer?
I don't get it.
Not sure what you mean, Jack, but it's always
elaborate
for more.
In it, your man's. In it, your man. Not Carl Franz, and he got the Warhammer.
Stays. So yeah.
That is the Warhammer, right? It's Carl Franz's hammer.
Yeah. Galmaraz.
See, knowledge.
How the fuck do you know that?
Steady on. Mate, I'm not as bad as you think, bruv. I'm not as bad.
Yes, you are. You are worse than you think.
Nah, I'm grand. On the
you're not as bad as Jamie, but you're bad.
Very, very excited. I think
Jamie's the worst person ever.
A lot of hobbyists are excited today, having seen that militia list go up for the heresy. So all the sort of weird projects have gone up. You could even do else if you really wanted, Andy. Aloha. Look at that. Oh, that's Rich's shirt. Fair enough. Thought we might actually have someone from Hawaii in. Thanks, Tez.
Just Rich.
Just Rich. But anyway, hi everyone. I'm Henry. Joining me as usual are Andy, Matt, and Rich. How are you, gents?
Cracking.
Good.
Yeah.
Excited.
Time's running out.
How many days, Matt? How many days? Talk to me.
Mate.
Show me the thing.
Where's the? Well, this is my personal one because that's when I leave. It's not long.
But the public one's what matters, mate. You're literally every single person's barometer and timekeeper and all
I
the
had
rest
someone
of it.
message me the other day just pleading to stop.
How many? What is it? How many days is it?
It's like 14, 11 or something.
That's not a lot at all. Love it.
I've got 8 days left to paint. That's all I know.
And are you all three of you still very much painting?
Very much so. We were literally doing it 10 minutes ago. We were on a chat painting, being like, "God, we're running out of time."
Scott's
I don't know why I haven't set up on this
Clayton,
desk,
Canada. No, Scott from Canada.
I am the best dressed, as always. Thank you.
Low bar.
Matalan hoodie is grand.
I'm in my pajamas, mate. So, well, congrats.
I'll take it.
Sometimes you just need, paint some Warhammers in your jammies, don't you? So sometimes all you need to do, just cheer yourself up.
Absolutely.
Right, we should get this stopwatch in a Cult of Paint design and make it kickstart a campaign. Yes, love it, Christian. Byron, if you're in the chat, get on that, son. We can put that through or something, definitely. Right, let's get on with it. It's been a few weeks. We didn't really have any picks, I don't think, in the last show. So we've got a ton to go through. And what's up first?
So first up is, as there's been a lot of talk about it, I figured we'd go with at least one view of him.
Brian the Lion.
Brian the Lion. Just ordered the novel today after having read.
Cool.
Well, I don't know if any of you. I'm assuming none of you guys have read the Arcs of Omen series.
No.
I read some bits.
So, for me, it's nearly always been the stories were nearly always the jumping off point for most hobby projects. I know often it's artwork, isn't it, for you, Andy? But for me, it's often the novels or whatever. And the Arcs of Omens books were I read them all, but what's the phrase? Could have been an email or whatever.
Mediocre.
It's just they sort of build, and then yeah. I think back to the days when, and not trying to be a grumpy old twat, but they used to cram stories into codexes that were like half a page sometimes, right? Or even just a text box sometimes. And I can still remember some of them, like how evocative they were and the rest of it. And I don't know, like, I don't want to bag on it too much, but it just...
all build up, no climax.
Well, no, it's not even like that. There was a climax in each book, but it often felt... So the books were split where you'd have like bits of it were like story, and then bits of it were more like telling you what happened. That makes sense.
Oh, right.
I haven't explained that very well, but they tended to just repeat each other.
Yeah.
You'd hear all about the lion fighting Angron and stuff, and then you'd read 4 more pages of the lion fighting Angron, but done as a from their points of view and all the rest of it. So I don't know, but the point being is I wanted more. Like the Lion's back. This is massive for like Dark Angels fans, as I'm probably 40k fans in general. But like for people of a certain vintage, where Codex Angels of Death was the peak of all Games Workshop goodness, to think back then, 29 years down the line or whatever it is, 30 years down the line, the Lion will actually be back as well. Is pretty rad.
That is pretty crazy.
Model's been pretty well received, hasn't it?
Well, it's sold out.
Well, yeah, I mean, other than that nonsense, but like the actual, like, because when Gilliman came out, it's fair to say, there was mixed opinion, like quite mixed vocal opinion. But
this is definitely better, right?
I've generally seen, most people seem to like this, right?
That's because they haven't built it yet.
Well, that's true. But also,
that's because can't
Gilliman's the most boring because he's just the Primarch bean counter, isn't he? Whereas the Lion's actually like really cool.
Well, I don't know whether you read the community article the other day about it. The design article there's a few interesting little snippets in that sort of. They were saying how there needed to be a tiny bit of continuity between the two models, but they deliberately made him much more like a big Dark Angel rather than Gilliman's like this almost caricatured.
He's like the Emperor.
The Emperor version 2, right? Yeah. Whereas they wanted the Lion to look a bit more like getting down and dirty with everyone getting stuck in.
I love him. I think he's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I love the. I haven't read the books yet. But I really want to start looking at the sort of new ideas around the Fallen and how that's going to work, because for me that's one of the best bits about the Dark Angel is the story around the Fallen, and I want to know like how Cypher fits into it all and what the actual story is with him. And I'm really hoping that they kind of go into a bit of detail with that. If they do a new box set that's Primaris Marines, that's specific Dark Angels, that's like the Black Templars, then I'm probably going to get some and paint them. But I want to paint them as the Fallen though, rather than as the.
Well, do you want like a medium level spoiler to do with it? So if people don't want to, like, I'll take like 1 minute to chat about it. By the way, there's loads of people painting GD entries while they listen to this. So this is why I wanted to order the novel, to find out just what the fuck is going on with it all. Because you start Arcs of Omen, and it's the Lion battling a couple of Fallen lads in the training hall on Dante's flagship.
What?
But they're not the Fallen anymore. They're called the Risen, and so it alludes to these.
It's the opposite.
Things. So from the sort of snippets you get, it seems like he's basically found loads of Fallen and gone. Did you actually go to Chaos? And they were like, if you haven't gone to Chaos and you've just been sort of this, that, and the other, and you swear loyalty to me, blah blah blah, then you're back. Then I'll have you.
Oh.
And he sort of builds this little warband of
the erected
Fallen, and then they show up. They show up in the battle. Him and this little unit of black-clad, sort of Baroque black-clad Space Marines and stuff. So. But I want to know, want to find out more about it, because I agree with you. I want to know what the crack with Cypher is. Yeah, exactly, right? Because he's got his sword, so...
Yeah, and he's been running around for the last 30 years, supposedly on this secret mission with all these... And there's lots of theories around what he's doing, but I love that sort of shit. And I want to know what the crack is.
I do feel like even just this little chat about it now, like I'm kind of... I don't know if I'm glad Primarchs are back or not. I still don't know where I stand on the whole storyline thing. I don't.
It's a no for me.
I don't love it, but it's already to me way more interesting having him back than it was having Gilliman back. And I'm not an Ultramarines hater by any means, but like there's been so much, hasn't there, with the whole Unforgiven and all of that in the storyline.
I'm in kind of both camps. I'm excited about them because I think the models are great, and I love the fact that the story is progressing. Because the last few years it's been progressing, but it felt like there was almost like a 10-year period where we didn't go any further with anything that was happening within like the story of it. I do kind of worry a little bit that they're kind of like blowing their load a bit in that. In 3 years we've had like 3 Demon Primarchs or 2 Demon Primarchs and 2 Loyalist ones. Like there is a finite.
There's no going back, right? This is it now.
Yeah.
But I think there's either you just play pre-storyline, right? You just keep buying the models and play with your friends and play before any of this happened, as you always kind of could. Like not all the stuff you'd play in 40k was the same 10-year span, was it?
No,
or you just got to get on board and go, oh, fuck it. let's just go.
I'm not used to. I like the story in the background is the bit for me that sells what I'm going to paint and why. It's very rarely, in fact, if ever, barely artwork. It's always my interpretation of the thing that I've read is normally the idea that I want to create. So the backstory and stuff is something that I want to be good.
Yeah, definitely. I know, Andy, when the Lion came out in from Forge World for Heresy a couple of years ago, I know you were a huge fan of that, and one of the things you said a few times that you liked about him was that he was basically just a big Baroque space knight. It wasn't even necessarily 40k or anything. It was just this big knight. How do you feel about this one? Like, I know it's a little bit more embellished, perhaps, but similar vibe.
I way prefer the Forge World one for its simplicity. Just things like, because I've built this Lion, and just things like the cloak on the Forge World one is very pleasant to paint and have as a separate piece, whereas this one is not fun. So I really like how simple the Forge World one is. It's got weird lines on the shins that I prefer, these bits and bobs, but overall I'm not super keen on this. It's really cool. I think it's amazing that they've made it, but I just don't want to paint it myself, really. I'd probably rather paint another Forge World Lion, just because there's far fewer details. Just stuff like the shield, and I get why they do the sculpts with loads of details on the shield, but I just want a flat shield, and I don't want swords across the knee. It's just there's just stuff like that I don't dig. I just like plain Marines. But I might have a go at making him not the Lion and just a big Dark Angel. That would be super fun to me, because I absolutely love the helmet design with the wings. So I'll probably either do Azrael or this guy with a lot of conversion work or something like that. But I definitely will paint a Dark Angel at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to paint this, but I don't. It's weird. I want to paint this, but I don't want to do it like for an entry, or I don't want to do it like super
too long, man.
Top level. I don't want to do it super top. I want to fully build it and just paint it for fun.
Yeah, just have fun with
it.
Yeah. That's fair. Well, good pick, Matt. Not bad at all.
It's been enough
chat about that for an hour, to be honest.
yeah,
pretty much.
But also,
shout out,
poor Dante.
No, poor Azrael.
Poor Azrael. But Azrael at least had a month or so on his own, didn't he? Or 6 weeks or so on his own. Dante's 1,500 years old. Just let me die. And
no,
his model.
I think that's why I'm sad about the
comes out, and again, the Lion comes out exactly the same time.
The Pope demands his sacrifice.
There he is.
Drew, what makes you sad about the Primarchs?
That I think what makes me, it doesn't really matter. Actually, it's cool because more models is cool. But Dante and Azrael aren't the biggest, coolest things. And when I was a kid, I just loved those two characters in particular so much. I think I painted 3 Dantes when I was a kid, all at the same time, because I wanted a red one, a gold one, and a black one. And then I did a couple Azraels, and I don't know. I love them to be the biggest, coolest thing in the army, right? But when you got the Lion, it's like, so I don't know, but it's cool. More models is more good.
I think the sort of the thing with the Primarchs is that when we were all doing the hobby in our like kids' age, there were no Primarch models out. It was, and they were just kind of like this mythical, legendary thing that was just in the lore, and you could just think about. And like the big characters were Dante and Mephisto and Azrael and all that stuff.
I love them, man. They're ingrained in me, I don't know. I quite like them in Heresy because it's a separate thing, right? So I guess I'm not complaining. I think they should do it because it is super cool. It's amazing there's 2 lions, right? I'm never going to moan. We've got a choice of 2 lion models. It's brilliant. But I just have this little thing of like, have the Primarchs in Heresy, and then I want Azrael to be like the coolest, Anyway, it's a minor feeling.
I don't think it is, mate. Don't put it down. Like I think it's absolutely cool to talk about. Like, I think a lot of people feel it similar ways. It's been what 6, 7 years since everything changed and Primaris showed up. Must be 7 or 8, right? Because it's been two
cycles, hasn't it?
Two cycles, right? 6, 7 years. Yes, yeah, so, and like I think a lot of people are still trying to work out. Like I know, like as I said, me, it's always started with the stories for me, and I'm trying to figure out exactly what's going on. I'm listening to a bunch of the audiobooks at the minute, like trying to understand where everything sits, and it's weird when you had a kind of thing you knew and you were obsessed with for 30 years and then it's you dip out for like a year or 2 and then you come back in and there's just the whole landscape has changed. I think especially for a hobby that's, and we spoke about it before, I think one of the reasons Games Workshop is so successful with keeping people in this hobby, as in their hobby, is you're offered so much. It's not just a cool mini. There's usually some great artwork to go with it. There's usually some stories. There's then background to those stories and whole worlds, and all of a sudden this escapism or whatever you're doing to do as a hobby, it's huge, isn't it? It's all encompassing. So it is weird, but there was a thing, wasn't there, like with the chapter masters of the Space Marines being like the absolute pinnacle.
That's it, man. That's it.
And then I didn't even mind it when then you had like the Grand Master of the Grey Knights being like a step up on that, right? But now all of a sudden there's armies of Custodes running around. There's Primarchs. It's that it's just died up to 11th in it. But as you said, more minis is usually a good thing.
Yeah. I'll paint Azrael, basically. That's what we'll do.
I'm still confused about that mini. We talked about him a couple of episodes ago. Every single bit, right, is really nice. I just don't quite get it. Like
it's the Primaris effect.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man. Who was the Ultramarine non-Primaris boss who got
Magnus Kraglar?
Calgar.
King of the Space Machines.
Old Calgon. Ultramarines live longer.
Mannerus Kraglar, all right. Mannerus Kraglar,
the King of the Space Machines.
King of the Space.
He got relegated big time. He
had a can of Rubicon and everything was fine. I was just see a good meme about Dante, something about you can't cross the Rubicon Primaris. It's certain death, and then there's just Dante going, "You promised me death." Like, what the fuck? You promised me death.
Yeah.
But Old Man Dance is still there.
He can't die. The plot demands he lives.
Well, yeah. But someone made the point as well that he's possibly, I think he's almost certainly got like more active history, as it were, as a Space Marine, as a general or whatever, than Gilliman does or the Lions and stuff. Because they got bopped on the head at like
it's been around
300
1,000 years more,
right?
He's actually older.
So he's a good man. Right, we've got a few more picks, I think.
That also the Lion wasn't my pick. My pick's coming up.
Oh, is it? Oh, that was just your.
That was just I wanted to put the Warhammer stuff in.
Back to double dipping as
triple dipping.
I've double dipped in ages. I'm double dipping for the next one. I don't give a fuck.
Oh, this is my one. So Weekend just gone. Ourselves and Greetings from the Warp were hosting the third sort of community Heresy weekend, which is just a weekend where we have Heresy event, Titanicus events, and painting, big Titanicus walks, things like that. And one of the things we've been doing at it is just having people bring their their displays, bring their armies. You know, a lot of people have collections of tens of thousands of points of Marines, and sometimes they've never had them all out in one place. So we just set tables up and you can just gawp at them. But there was one tiny little squad of these guys and a Magos converted on this Zone Mortalis board, and everyone just kept walking up to them over the weekend like, what's that? That's really cool. So go and check this account out. It's super cool what he's doing with them, and he's planning to turn them into an army. And it just got me really excited. I was going to use his Archmagos, but I couldn't. Actually thought the photos weren't brilliant at that compared to this one. So to see what he's doing with them anyway. But it's all this horrible, gribbly, nasty, you know, Blanchitsu kind of not necessarily painting, but certainly visually.
It's the Bath hobby scene, mate. Bath hobby scene is strong.
Is Rob from Bath? Is he?
Yeah, BA1.
Nice.
Let's go.
There we go, even better.
It's the
and
strongest scene.
Thoroughly nice bloke and all the rest of it. Just really keen to, if you fancy a project to go and follow or account to go and follow, go and check this guy out. But this, just this little, just funny to see everybody walking through, and you had these titans everywhere. I mean, there was, maybe 100 big titans in that room, and everyone was just still having a little, oh, what are they? That's cool.
Well, that's a couple of quid in one space, isn't it?
Mate, yeah, it's unreal.
Keeping forward for afloat.
So yeah, that was my pick.
Nice. Good pick.
Nice. Next up is...
Wow.
This is mega.
That's sick.
Yeah,
So bright.
Ruben said, oh, hey, I've been painting lots of chibis in the for Marvel Crisis Protocol, because he does a lot of the box arts. And he was like, I wonder if I can do this style on a bust. And so he's done this, and I thought it's brilliant. And I bet he painted it in an afternoon. I love Ruben. He's amazing. He's just always does super interesting things. So I just think he's brilliant, and I thought this was a really nice, different take on stuff. So yeah, really, really cool. And you can learn a lot from it, actually, because you should paint a lot of things in this way. You just might do a bit of blending, but like how the light is on the hair and stuff like that, that's just kind of how it should look. I think everyone focuses on the little strands and things like that, but I think the green sleeve is my favorite bit. It's well good.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mistake. The green sleeve and then the glow on the little robot-y thing behind it is just elite as fuck.
But yeah, he was, real innovator, and I think brought cast shadows into the foreground. I think he was the person, and then Eric's really driving them forward too, and getting people are finding out about it through Eric's work. But I think Ruben was doing a lot of interesting effects a while back. So yeah, he's brilliant, and if you haven't seen his stuff before, you need to.
Robot. I want to see that little robot, but like as a fully painted big model.
Yeah,
love it.
Cool, right?
Yeah,
very
super cool. That's one of the
Super
best.
vibrant.
I don't know what the style is called, but that
cell shaded.
Is it cell shaded? Is that what that's?
I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that 2D artwork style on a 3D
It's very
miniature.
Dragon Ball Z-esque and Dragon Ball style.
Cell shaded. I'm almost certain it's cell shaded.
Well, we see Gundams in that, and we see chibis, but I think he was like, I want to see if I can do it on a bust, and I thought it was worth showing just as a.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think cell shaded has to have the black lining though.
Right, that's what
That's the only
I
difference.
didn't want to get it. Didn't want to get it wrong, because I know that's something people are quite passionate about, aren't they? As a style.
Don't hate me, anime fans.
Yeah,
but especially with that,
for God's sake, don't rile up the anime fans.
But that black background, the presentation of this, it's if you glanced at it, you'd 100% believe it was like a drawing, right?
Well, someone's asking if it's a model in the chat.
Yeah.
But the black background does sell it, doesn't it? That if you were to see that on a desk, I would imagine it would be like with a desk in the background. I'm sure it'd be very, very cool still. But with the black
Don't have the
background,
same punch.
Would not have the same punch. No.
Well, hopefully we'll see it at the SMC, which I am booked on to go to.
Very good.
No.
Right. What's next?
So next up is
My double dip, but this is for you, Henry. I thought
Oh god, I was going to pick this in paint colors.
Yeah, I thought you would.
But then I was like, I can't just keep picking this person's miniatures every week.
We're going to send him all the miniatures.
Like this, I love it because it just challenges me. It's like years ago, Andy bought this model. And before I'd met Andy, I didn't really have any hobby mates that painted anything other than fantasy or sci-fi gaming size miniatures, right? Then Black Sailors came out and it changed all that. I was at Salute and I saw it. I was like, oh my god, these are incredible. And then I met Andy and he was sort of talking about, I might get into painting these larger things. He paints these larger things. And I was at his house one time and he had this little model of a deer or an antelope. And I teased him quite a lot about it.
Hard.
Because at that time I was very ignorant. I didn't really see how the two sat next to each other, right? Why would you want to paint that? When you could paint space machines or it wasn't quite that, simple and basic, but it was kind of that. But this person, obviously last year they did that amazing face on the yellow background. We've had their Kingfisher the other week. And now I'm sat here like gushing over a couple of pears. Right?
Funny old life, isn't it?
And it's incredible. It's still alive. I get it.
Did you read the caption though, Henry?
I get it now. No, I don't think I did.
I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of he was wondering, if you introduced people to painting miniatures for the first time, is this a nice gateway? Also, is it a good learning thing because you're learning? We always do the class on Space Marines for understanding light and volumes and stuff like that. How nice is it that that this is a thing to learn on? I think it's fantastic. It's
really nice, but I guarantee you, if we taught the class on fruit, we wouldn't sell many tickets.
But what if you did it with your missus? What if if she's like, I want to have a go at painting? And
I'm not saying you couldn't have a successful class using it. I'm just saying, I think it's a good way to introduce people into miniatures painting. I don't know. I don't think it's a bad way.
I think that was his question on the caption. Was like, I wonder.
But I suppose that's we when we had I can't think which guests it was we had on, but we were talking and one of them mentioned that that Warhammer wasn't how they'd got in.
Yeah.
And I think for the vast majority of people, a Games Workshop is the way you get into painting miniatures. Or certainly, I think in Western society, that's probably the way you get in. The things like Gundam and stuff just aren't. It's not really comparatively. It's a nothing, right? So yeah, I mean, more ways to get people in, the better. Absolutely, but is this miniatures painting?
That's it, right? That's the question. That's
is
why.
Is it though?
Right. Yeah, it is. It's a miniature. It's a miniature pear, dude. It's a miniature pear.
It is a scale model of a pear.
It's like if you're doing a diorama and you put like little apples and stuff in the diorama that had like a Space Marine in it, they're still miniatures.
Yeah.
Then you take the Space Marine away, right?
Yeah.
Well, Dan in the group chat just said slap a pair of shoulder pads on them and the tickets will be snapped up.
There we go. Now we're talking.
Paint a lovely pair.
But I've been in some robust discussions with certain establishments over the last couple of months to do with miniatures and art.
We send them this instead of our Space Marines.
Instead of the Space Marines, they might be a little bit more accommodating. But yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think it's wonderful. And I say, until I'd seen this person's stuff, I'd never really thought I'd want to own someone else's miniatures. Like if somebody's given you as a gift, that's different, right? Because there's the friendship aspect of it. But like to own a stranger's miniatures, I'd never wanted to really. Maybe a handful, like maybe something of Romans, but but this guy's stuff, it's just like you can just picture it on the wall. Like
I kind of want some to put on the wall.
Right? Yeah,
I'd love a print of this.
Or just a print of it, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not, as soon as I've painted any models, they're lucky if they make it to the shoebox. Most of them just get, anyway, amazing.
what you're saying is we need to reach out and beg.
I think so. Well, I'm hoping,
2 box
I'm hoping
art,
this
right?
person will be at Monty or something, so I can.
He was at Golden Demon last time. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, that'd be good.
Yep.
But we're going to talk about that very shortly. Lovely pair. What's up next? Here we go.
This is my pick.
He's getting.
Yeah, just because it was there's a few bits because, like you said, it's been a couple of weeks since we did it. But actually, I just love this version. It's my favourite version of it. This was the one that I looked up that made me go, oh, actually, I would like to paint that model. I love the shade. I love the colour that's in there. I love the execution of it. I really like Marco's work anyway. But yeah, I just thought it was a really fab version of it, so that's why I picked it, basically. Because I've seen a lot. There was a few of these going around, wasn't there, that people have painted for the release?
A lot.
I would like to know how many they've sent out, because it seems to be everyone and their mother has
100,
a box.
I reckon. 100 at least.
But I love this. Was my favourite version of it, and it made me want to paint in that kind of non-metallic style that he paints in. That's really kind of colourful and a bit not loose. I think is an unfair word, but like quite bold with the strokes and the colours and stuff. So yeah,
Shield emblem's really good, isn't it? That's proper
It's
convincing
just,
gold tone. That.
Yeah, I really like it. I love Marco's work anyway. He really some of the things that he's done, like the Galvor back he did not very long ago, and things like that. Because it's so, I think what it is so different to how I paint. It's unbelievably different to how I paint. I'd love to have a go at that sort of thing.
I'd like to shout out John Ashton for hit because I liked his line because he did it silver and green, which I thought was an inspired color scheme, and I thought that was wicked with silver armor because it looks like a proper grim Dark Knight. So shout out for that. I thought it was super cool.
Are you going on John's podcast anytime soon? Keeps asking.
Yes, I will.
My Life in Miniatures. There we go. You can go back to it. I'll call you out on it now.
After Golden Demon, then we got 2 things to talk about then.
It's a good podcast, that.
More people got to paint this for paint release than there were actual models on pre-order date. Oh my god, really?
That's a lie.
They put less than 100 models out for people to buy. Jesus Christ, come on.
I think that might be porky pies.
I think that might be slight
exaggeration.
I think they sold out just because of the influenzas. That's what I heard. It's the only reason it sold out because they did.
Oh yeah, John's in the chat. Bosh. There we go.
There you go, mate.
Right. Yeah, great pick there, Rich. I think there was a couple of really nice ones in that community article. I like the 2 alternate Primark takes that Pete and sorry, I forget the other person who did the other one, but there was two cool ones.
Oh, Patrick Sand.
Yes, that was
Puddy.
it. What's Puddy? Yeah, Matarian and Conrad. Some really cool. So that just leaves you, Matt. No, you've tripped it already. No,
I've got one. Those two, the 2 that start were my picks. I just wanted to put them in. Right. Yeah. This is my favourite thing I've seen. This will be my favourite thing I see all year. 1/35 scale kits fit all the orc things. I'm so happy.
Yeah. So you must be aware of like the old forums like Daka and stuff, and Bolter and Chainsaw. Yeah. And like those people have been trying for years, like to anything that exists really isn't nailed down, they'll turn into orc stuff.
Yeah.
But that slight creep in scale,
it works.
Yeah, it works really well.
Yep.
You can do a similar thing. Yeah. I
was on the Tamiya website the other day looking at 1/35 car kits, and I'm like, which one can I use to smash into some orc bits?
Love it. Do a bin lorry, that'd be fun.
A bin lorry.
That would be good.
I love it. But how do you feel about the old sort of? It's not quite crossing the streams, is it? You know, it's not like it's an AT-AT or something with orcs hanging off it. But how do you feel when you see this sort of thing mixed in with Warhams?
I love it.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah,
there's nothing like wrong against it. Just a different way of doing things. But I think it's
like Mad Max, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very Mad Max.
Yeah, and I think that was a very big inspiration, wasn't it? I think Fury Road had only recently come out when they redid the buggy kits. I think there was some fairly obvious inspiration. I mean, the amount of times. What's the like the big rig with the guitarists and stuff on it called? I can't think.
The war rig.
Yeah, like the amount of them I've seen. Yeah, it's.
I love it. It's like the cartoon element, the comedy, like silly side. Like, oh, look at Andy, loves it. Andy, you love the silly side of 40k. It's your favourite thing in the world.
Yeah, books are the best.
There you go.
I think that's
I
like
actually really like the symbol on the roof, though. That's mint. That's well done.
Piers and Heimdo in the chat have got a good point. Dark Future from like the 80s.
Yeah.
And Gorka Morka.
It's Gorka Morka.
And I do love Gorka Morka.
Bring back Gorka Morka.
Yeah, I liked Gorka Morka loads. It was great.
It's
that was before my time.
A brilliant bit of scuttlebutt about the development of that, which we shouldn't talk about here. But it's good. Yes, the wow, whatever the fuck you say it, forum, that was fucking brilliant as well.
Wow.
Yes, the
I
Mr.
hate when
Potato
people
Head,
shout wow.
Mr. Potato Head Stompers.
Carmageddon.
Mr. Potato Head
Stompers.
Stompers. Fuck yes, I used to love that game. Did you ever play that on PC?
Yeah, I did. Do you remember the graphic novel Death Squadron?
Come out during my sabbatical.
But so it was like this. It was an entire like army of orcs that all had planes, and for some bizarre reason, they all ran out of like propellers or something. So they turned them all into cars and drove them around instead.
Orcs, they're just the best.
Look at Andy's
more and more. I do question why everyone doesn't just play orcs and just have a great time and just stop worrying about things.
Like, you peasants. I picked the wrong meme. It should literally be Andy like, you fucking peasants.
Yeah.
It's just when they shout "wah."
Yeah.
It's like, all right, cool. I hate this hobby.
It's fine when the orcs do it. It's just when people do it during games, I'm just like, no, please stop.
Well,
you need shit factions to make my factions look cool. So
speaking of that sort of cliched shouts, there was obviously it's traditional with Titanicus. Obviously, if there's an engine kill, you shout, celebrate it anyway, the engine kill. But the Titan Owners Club, so the big Titanicus group, they do it really right, and it goes something like this: engine kill, and then polite applause. Just quiet, polite applause. It's like the true.
Excuse me, engine kill everyone.
Gentlemen of the hobby and gentlewomen of the hobby. That's
kind of on point for the lore, though, with all the pilots and all that stuff. They're very soft spoken when they're doing.
Well, I
thing.
don't know. I kind of feel like if I did it, I'd want to be, blah, 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 giving it all of this, Vuvuzelas.
The Titan players are that meme. The three vampires from Twilight stood on the balcony.
Yeah. I don't know that.
What do they say? It's literally like basically it's like the peasants and them at the top. That's the real. I will make it into a meme for next time. But that's the Titan.
Got 2-time Slayer sword winner Neil Hollis in the chat there.
Hello.
A golf clap, Sasha. That's exactly what it is.
You could make it so chavvy. That would be
amazing. Right. Is that it for picks?
That's it.
Right. Do we have a meme?
We do have a meme.
Related?
I don't know what it is.
It's not paint related.
Why isn't it paint related?
Because it's hobby related. It's the
topical.
Same thing. So massively thank you to.
I'm worried already.
Yeah, Christ, please don't be too offensive.
It's not. I promise it's not offensive.
Only Andy won't like it because of the topic.
Yeah. Andy's not going to get it.
No. He won't like it when he gets it.
Thank you.
All right. Let me read it. See if I get it. All right. Let's see.
I asked the community for them, and they delivered. They sent me about 30 to pick through, so it's great.
I'll get that.
Explain it then.
Doesn't talk to his kids, the Primarchs, does he?
Terrible father.
Is that not the joke?
Is this not? Are you telling me the other meme that has been going around our WhatsApp chat to do with the show is not going to be coming up next?
The one that I got sent about Andy?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I decided
outrageous, right? We'll be posting that on the social medias thing.
But You get it,
Makes
don't
me
you?
feel uncomfortable.
You know where the quote's from, Rich, though, don't you?
Friend. Yeah, it's from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get it.
No, exactly.
There we go. And then the other bit is
Gandalf.
That's Bilbo.
Close
Frodo.
enough, mate. Close enough.
That's Bilbo at his party.
Oh,
And it's
because
supposed to be-
is that picture in the bottom, Lord of the Rings?
Yeah. Fucking hell, mate.
That's Andy Wardle recent gold-winning piece in Lord of the Rings Middle Earth
With a high elf
game
on a horse.
category. Golden Demon. Love it. Right. So
Yeah, keep them
the
coming,
memes
guys.
coming in. Keep them all coming. We do enjoy
Keep them
seeing
sending
them.
to me.
It's becoming an entire hobby in itself, I think, Warhammer memeing.
I got a lot of X-rated ones that I was really tempted to put on.
Yeah, I bet. And Warhammer dad jokes as well. Yeah, too right. So Warhammer Fest and Golden Demon UK 2023 just flows off the tongue. It's coming up. 10 days time, whatever it is. 6 days, 10 days. I don't know what it is. Very soon. And we thought we would have a little chat about what we're looking forward to, what we're expecting. All four of us are going to be there over the weekend. 3 of us will be entering Golden Demon. So thought we'd have a little bit of a natter about what we're hoping to see, what we're confident we'll see, and maybe even a few little predictions. The usual sort of runners and riders. So so take it away then. Well,
It's not long, is it?
Let's start. It's not long, Rich. So let's open it with this. Will be the 4th Golden Demon in 13 months.
Hang on, I got a slide here.
Oh, 2018, UK 19.
Time's gone down between them. It's been very, very close.
Now, a lot of that we can assume has been to do with obviously COVID and the fallout of lockdown and COVID. Are we assuming now that this will be the date for UK Demon and Adepticon will always be the date for US Demon?
I hope so, because I'm planning my entries on these dates for next year.
I think US is safe because I can't see them moving Adepticon, but I could see UK getting moved again.
Yeah, I don't see
Hopefully
any
not
reason why they wouldn't.
in Manchester on a bank holiday weekend. Sorry.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
No, I can't see them. I can't see why they wouldn't change the date of the UK one. It changes all the bloody time.
But they should, because it's the worst. I mean, I'm not going to moan because we've got Warhammer Fest again, but it sucks. Anyway,
the gap between them?
No, that's bad, but the bank holiday thing really sucks.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Anyway,
so,
let's buy the
I hope they do sort that. But how do you feel about let's say the dates do stay how they are? Mm-hmm. How does that impact someone like yourself, Andy, who's these are 2 of the 4 or 5 shows that you will probably commit to each year.
I like it.
How do you feel about that gap between them? It's all right.
It's fantastic because I just finished that Golden Demon in America, and I'm like, yeah, Golden Demon's great. So I'm happy doing another entry right now. Whereas when I started Glutos, I was like, do I like Golden Demon? I can't remember, but that's what I started it too late. But no, it's cool because kind of after the Golden Demon, I'm going to switch and start working on Monty entries and things like that. But and in November, then I'll go whole hog for these 2. So I'm happy. I think all that matters if you know when it is each year, because it does take a silly amount of time. I'm probably going to spend 4 months on my next entry, and it doesn't leave much room for many others. So I just think it's important that it becomes regular eventually. And we've only had 6 months between the last UK one, because that UK one at Warhammer World was a one-off, and that was because of the COVID thing. So now, so maybe they wiggle it a little bit, and hopefully they move away from the bank holiday. Hopefully it goes to Birmingham. That would be my dream. Birmingham not on a bank holiday, but if it's around the May time, I think that's really cool. So I'd be really happy with the Adepticon March and then Warhammer Fest April, May.
Did old Warhammer Fest used to be in? Was that always in May?
It was April for a bit, and then it was September for a bit, wasn't it? Games Days used to be September.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
going to say Games Days used to be September, didn't
Right.
it? I think Fest,
And then the
Fest
Coventry
moved to
one was
May.
April.
summertime. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, it could be fucking any day, any week. Who knows?
Well, it's the venue, isn't it? Because I did hear that it was booked for Birmingham, and then COVID happened, I believe. And then obviously they've not been able to get Birmingham, because I loved it. I went when I was a kid in '99 to NEC or whatever it was.
Yeah, I never went to one of the big ones.
They were
Yeah,
good.
it was so cool. So we'll see, but I think this one's a particularly weird one because it seems like a minute since the last UK one, 6 months, and that won't happen again. It'll be, at least 11 months, 12 months between the next UK one, and I don't mind them being close together because I kind of think it stays on people's mind a bit more, and it's kind of like Golden Demon season, I think. So I quite like. I've enjoyed them being together, and just them rolling into one, to be honest.
So from that, bearing that in mind, would you, let's say they are going to be, hopefully they even announce it. Wouldn't it be wonderful if they announced next year's dates, like, the Tuesday after this
The
one?
dream.
But would you, because obviously, I say obviously, so Andy, you've decided to paint a new entry for GD UK since you've come back from US GD, and that's it's up on your social media. There's a series on our Patreon about it. Would you, next year going into it, would you still do it the same way, or would you work on the entries not necessarily fully simultaneously, but would there be some work beginning, for the UK one earlier? You know what I'm getting at? Like,
yeah, no, I'll do it completely differently. Right. But I can remember in January and Christmas, really, I had the time to start Golden Demon entries, and I just didn't fancy it. And I don't know why, motivation goes in ebbs and flows. And then I decided, right, I'm going to do this Glutos, because I built that Glutos last summer, so I've had it on the desk for ages. So, but I just didn't feel like it. But I had such a fun time at Adepticon, and I think it is cool if you bring your A game. And I'm really happy with Glutos and Elrond before any awards and stuff. But you look at your mini and you go, I think that's good. And that's how I felt about my two. I was like, I think I've got better at these entries. And speaking to friends and new people, I got really nice feedback on them. And it was really nice to kind of, I don't know, talk to people about stuff. And now I think I'm more motivated than ever, really. So basically what I'm trying to say is I'm going to start my entry straight away in May. So I'm going to do the Slan, the Frog, because I think it's my favorite Games Workshop model of all time, and wow. I would love to spend, I spent 6 weeks on Glutos. I want to spend 6 weeks on the Frog on his own, then pack that away, and then work on 40k 10th edition stuff, then come back, work a bit on the chair, and then I want to do it like that, really spend ages on the next entry. And I'll probably do something like go, okay, Frog, that's my US entry, and hopefully get that done, I don't know, September. I'm just making up something, and then pick another one for UK. So basically try and do 2 big entries, one for each
over the next 12 months. Yeah,
correct.
That's
yeah
fair. Well, I hope, Nick, in the chat, I hope that sort of answers your question. It's quite a difficult one. Christian bringing up a really good point, ever so eloquently. Question is, if everybody's shot their ammo now from the COVID years, all the GD entries are now new entries. So stuff they've only had limited time to
potentially.
Produce.
But that's assuming 100%. That everyone's actually. That's assuming everyone's put everything into the last GD. And I know that the quality of the last GD, we were all there and looking at it, was particularly high. And I think it does raise a really valid question of what's this one going to be like? Is it going to be slightly less because we've only had 6 months? But even within 6 months, people can still do, some really good work. If they didn't go to Adepticon and they went, right, I'm just doing UK GD, and they've painted pretty much non-stop from then until now, like that's a good old amount of time to do a good entry.
I think because I've already thought about this for a while and discussed it with other people, but the volume of entries at the last UK one was absurd, and I do think that will be one of the strongest ones relatively always, because we're never going to have a 3-year break again, you know. And people like Chris Clayton, who obviously did that undeniable Slayer Sword entry, he had 3 pieces that are all perfection. And I think that's really because he'd had 3 years. And I don't know the time span he spent on each entry, but I remember talking to him. I think it was kind of 1 a year, because he did the Lord Croak. I've got it next to me. I can't remember the name, but I think, he did Lord Croak, and I think he must have spent, I don't know, a year on that, and then he had the Giant, a long time on that. So someone that dominated the last UK GD so much, are they going to have done something in the last 6 months? You just don't know, right? And the same with David Soper, because he spent 4 years on the tank, something like that. So, when you think, okay, who did really, really well at the last GD? Chris Clayton, David Soper, have they got stuff? And maybe Albert I was going to come on to separately. But yeah, I know Albert's doing something, but it just depends the size of it, because all those guys could do single figures, but David's not going to have the Nurgle tank winning vehicle, and then Chris might do something fantastic. Is it going to be the Giant level? We just don't know. I think it's obviously going to be a strong demon because it's the UK, it always is, but it's maybe not going to have the extreme volume of quality. I don't know.
The last one was really out there, wasn't it? It was literally 3 years, like you said, worth of people saving things up and entering. So if you think about, like you said, like the heavy hitters, they normally only enter one thing. Yes. Most of the heavy hitters, they enter one entry that they've worked on that one entry till the next demon. That's what they enter, and they put all their eggs in that basket, normally winning something very, very good. Yeah. It was, for the first time I've ever looked at them and gone, hold on, you think any fantastic painter, you go, hold on, there's one of his there, and like there. Like, that's a lot. So yeah, it's definitely going to be different. I don't necessarily think it's going to be, it's still going to be good. It's still going to be high, like you said, but it won't have the weight of the last one. That was an anomaly for sure.
But you could still get one piece that's like absurd, right? Because that's the thing. So there's always a difference, and people talk about the strength of a competition, and I think it's different. Like, how strong was the Slayer Sword winner? How strong were category winners? And then was every category strong in its own right? And that can vary a lot. I think things like, Age of Sigmar single was just bonkers last time, and there was 10 to 15 things that would have placed with ease most of the time, and you got people like Rich Grey not placing with that amazing goblin, which is just bonkers just to think things like that didn't place, and loads of other examples of amazing stuff not placing. So you could see those re-entered, which is fair enough.
That's true, actually.
Case in point with Neil, who didn't place in the last UKG because of the base thing, but went on to get the sword in the US. So we might see some really strong stuff from only 6 months ago that actually deserved a demon. And I don't think people should resent when people re-enter stuff, because if you put like your heart and soul into something and you didn't win because there's only 3 winners, I don't think you can get too annoyed. Unless they bring it like 4 or 5 times, and I think that's a bit silly. But I certainly think, why wouldn't you bring back something that was really good, that maybe deserved a spot in the last 6 months?
See, I don't know what, and I know I don't do much anymore of the entering, and I've only just restarted. I don't know. I would feel weird re-entering something, even if I knew. And if I didn't get, so say for instance, you entered something and it didn't win because there was better stuff there, and you entered it at the next one and it then won, it wouldn't mean as much for me. And this is just my personal take on it.
I know what you're saying, yeah.
I just don't think it would mean as much because, it wasn't good enough to beat those people. So if those people entered something this time, odds are there's a very good possibility it wouldn't have won again.
I agree with that in most situations, but I think with the last UK one was so mental. You look, so AOS 40k, you've got Maxime, Pinot, and Albert. It's like, well, if you did something really good and you lost to those guys, bringing that again is fine. the dual category was fantastic.
Yeah.
You know,
It was all fantastic. It's insane.
Chris was in there. Yeah, so I think it was so short, 6 months ago, and it was so mental. It was 3 demons worth. It was 3 years. So I think definitely, why wouldn't you bring back an entry? So don't feel bad about that. I brought Techless back to Adepticon, and I literally had my case and Techless, and I couldn't decide whether to bother or not because of that re-entry feeling. In the end, I chose to bring it because I thought people might want to see it, and why not? I got space in the case, so but I didn't feel good about it, and I'm kind of glad. I'm glad I didn't win anything for Techless because I'm very unhappy with that model, and I don't want to sort of get a win for it. I think it's nice that I was happy with my 2 pieces and they placed, and the thing that I didn't think was any good didn't, because I think that helps with your mindset basically. But I did bring it back for people to see, and people wanted to talk about Techless, so I'm glad I did, because it's nice that people see stuff in real life.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I'm sure we're really clear. That's not me ragging on anyone that is re-entering stuff. If you want to re-enter it, then fucking absolutely crack on. I think just for me, it would mean a little bit less, but maybe that's just my way of looking at it.
Situational though.
Absolutely.
And I think that, if you were in AOS single figure or 40k single figure in the UKGD, then my word, that was horrendous. What a strong category. So yeah, it all depends really.
There's a really good point in the question in the chat. Is the hard part is painting like nuts and getting nothing sometimes because there are only 3 winners. I feel GD needs more categories. For me personally, I disagree with that because it raises the level. If they lowered it and they added loads more categories, I think it would lower the standard that would win. Which is something that I think we kind of found a few years ago when they were doing the mini GDs, and they were literally every few. There was one at one point. There was every 3 or 4 months there was one.
Yeah.
And that's when I was doing the majority of my entry. And being completely honest, there were things that I was entering that I wasn't completely happy with that was still winning, and it cheapened what Golden Demon is in my mind. But that's just for me personally. That was just my personal journey within painting for competitions, which made me fall out of love with it, because it's like, well, and this is no way of saying it, way of saying this, I sound like an arrogant prick. You'd enter something that you didn't try that hard on, and there was a good possibility that you would win something because they were so frequent.
It's hard, mate. Like, if you can equate it, you can't really equate it, can you? But if you were to equate it to sport and things like that, where traditionally, athletics or any sort of sports where it's a podium, it's a gold, silver, bronze, you could argue that if somebody went to 15, right, strongman, that's a sport I really enjoy and I follow a lot, right? And you've got certain strongmen who will compete once a month at events, and by the end of the year they might well have won, and we're talking like a good level, like pro level, and at the end of the year they might have 10 wins under their belts. And you've got others that choose to do 2 shows a year, world's strongest man and something like that. It's hard, right? Because you could argue that is someone, are you gaining skills, you working on your chops by going to all of these ones, and it's this whole thing, isn't it, of competitive painting. It's really, I've always found it really difficult. Like the gold, silver, bronze is not my personal preferred way of seeing awards given, which is why whenever we've run things we haven't done that. But it is quite exciting, like in that, as Andy said, you're getting big names not getting anything. Now that doesn't mean their miniatures aren't incredible, does it?
No,
it generates a bit of conversation as well, doesn't it? Generates a bit of drama, gets people talking about miniatures painting, which is quite exciting.
That's what I mean. I find it exciting. Like, if you've got like the big names and they're all there, it's like, well, there are more big names than there are trophies.
Yeah.
So some people are going home without one.
Yeah. And
I really like fun. And I'm not even in that conversation around like entering and winning in that group of people. But I find it really exciting and really interesting to go, fuck, which they're going to pick and why.
Yeah.
Like all these people, these 50 people are all arguably top tier 1% of painters on the planet, probably. So how do you pick which ones win?
I do think, I agree, and I do think there's an element there where the judging and knowing the judges, I think, would be nice. Because you're kind of, and as Andy said a minute ago, you've got 10 to 15 pieces that are all 11 out of 10s, right? So everybody's already accepted these are incredible miniatures.
Yeah.
So you get that out of the way, and then it's almost, I'm not saying it is, okay, who are the favourites of the judges, which three are the judges' favourites, because I'm not saying it's purely subjective, because it's not, is it? There's objectivity placed on it as well. But it's just tough. I think as soon as it's competitive and a podium, it becomes a whole different discussion almost. Because then you've got, like you say, people sharking it a bit as well. It's love. I love it. It gets people chatting.
It's that competitive.
I've discussed it more, right? You go, Matt.
Yeah, no, I was going to say it's that competitive thing. I mean, you've seen, like, I keep seeing loads of comments and videos like they want to see GD move to an open system or something like that, and like I never want to see that happen. GD has been 1, 2, 3 for 35 years, and yeah, painting has moved on dramatically, and the way that painting is judged, and there are more people that are amazing than you can give awards to in GD. But I think if you putting it into an open thing it would ruin what GD is. Yeah. Basically, I
agree.
There's enough other painting competitions that are open categories which work in that fashion, but it would ruin it. The only thing I would really like to see is they take photos, we never see the photos. That's where the recognition and the sort of the accepting more people into all these cool miniatures needs to come from. We need to see the photos, not that it's like 1, 2, 3 is bad or whatever. Just every photo needs to go up that they have. That's what needs to change in GD for me, anyway.
I completely agree. I think that I've discussed this over 10 times in the last fortnight, and Golden Demon is its own thing. It has to be top 3 because it's been like that forever. And it is horrible. It's so horrible because you can paint something amazing, and if you don't get a bronze, it feels like nothing. But that's just Golden Demon. And I like that there's other shows that are different. Monte Sansovino, Scale Model Challenge, they're unbelievably fun shows. For me, they're on par. I don't prioritize any of them. I love them all. And if you're not going to those, you just have to. But I don't want them to all be the same. I like doing the open shows, bringing my display. I like the top 3. I think it's difficult because I've obviously won some just now. So I know people might be, who haven't won and they get that disappointment. But I've had tons of disappointments in the past. So I have felt like absolute crap, and I care about it way too much. So I've probably felt way worse than other people when it's not gone right, because I care about it too much. But it's very, very special when you win. And as soon as it becomes easy, it isn't. And Rich, you've said openly, I've won stuff and I'm just not bothered because I know I've been kind of lucky, and you want it to be kind of hard. But what they really do need to do is at least have a gallery for the commended, because although for them it might be one member of staff's afternoon to get them uploaded, it means so much to people. Like, and it makes Games Workshop no extra money. They're kind of probably just doing it because they feel like they have to, but people care about it so much, and the problem is it's such a small part of the hobby because most people are gamers. There's just a few of us that are nutters into this little section of Warhammer. But I think it's such a shame that there's just not that gallery, right? I don't think they can do a gallery of every entry, and I think the next thing we need is that they show all the winners, and then there should be a separate page, even the community article, and then there should be the commended too. And then it makes that step above the finalist more worth it. And, so they need to be really, nice in how they give out finalists and commended.
Sorry, someone's just sent us some sort of compendium in the chat.
some sort of
yeah.
It was like someone would want to do that.
It's also like now they're charging for GD like as a separate event. You know, if they sold the rumored 1,000 tickets that I've seen posted online, that's 10 grand. That's, you know, you could put a couple of staff members on just to take photos.
Yeah, absolutely. So someone's saying, Piers said in the chat, like gold, silver, bronze works for the Olympics, and I think it goes back to what I was saying a few minutes ago. Is it's not a sport. And now, admittedly, there are things in the Olympics, aren't there, that are scored, as opposed to it's not as simple as run quicker than this person, throw something further than this person. But generally, they will be scored on really clear, like metrics. It's super objective, isn't it? And I just don't know how you can do that with art.
You can't.
And which is why I think. And I'm agreeing with you. I completely agree with you guys. I think it's great that it exists, but I think it's great that the other ones exist and that the two of them complement each other very well. The open style competitions, right? But I just, I don't think equating it to sport works, because it's not like one of you turned up in better shape than the other one, you know, on the day. Kind of thing. So I just, and the flip side, a few people have said in the chat, oh no, if you start giving multiple golds in this, then it just devalues things and make things easy. But that's not true either. You know, you look at competitions like SMC or whatever. That's what they do, and the quality of the pieces there is. I don't think anyone's about easy golds and things, right?
No,
I didn't get gold with my best work.
I think trying to say which is better than the other, it is just a pointless exercise.
Yeah, absolutely.
The only thing I'd say with the gold, silver, bronze that I prefer more than the open system is that I know who has won. In the open systems, when we were at Monty, for example, there was how many people's names, and I don't know what they entered. Like I can't find it. Like it's that's the one thing I do like about the GD thing is you know which minute, yeah. Whereas in open, it's like I love open system. I think it's great, but it's difficult to know which miniature unless they put it up as one.
I get that, but I don't know. I don't know. There's merits to both. I quite like Monty's so low tech that the last 2 years they just got a projector, only for the best of show though.
It was good.
There's some charm to it, isn't there?
I've got a couple things though. I'll very quickly just talk about in comparison to Monty. Is I did get a gold once, and I was sharing that gold with other people, but the other people that hold gold were Lan, Kirill Knieve, and I was okay with that. That was one of the best feelings. But then last year, I brought, I think, my best work ever, all of it, and I got a silver.
And you'd had gold, hadn't you, several times before?
Yeah, and I definitely felt I had all my best stuff. I had my Woodsman, Girl in Tree, like just everything I was most proud of, and I got a silver that time. So it's still brutal, the open system, but I just think it's important to have it different. And look, we've had Golden Demon this long the same. It just shouldn't change. I think it's a kind of very short conversation that part shouldn't change. It should be a top 3. But what I'd love to see them try and work on, especially as Warhammer gets more popular and more people are hopefully interested in Golden Demon, is that just a little more care around the people that don't win. Because I think, photos for everyone commended, and all that stuff. I think we need to push for that, really.
I think that is the massive thing about it is the system works. It just needs more back end commended. I mean, it's not massively technical to do. I coded my version in an afternoon. Like it's
you volunteer,
but you care, Matt. But you care. That's
I think that's the thing. It's. But the thing is, I don't want to be negative, but we know the people that end up having to do the grunt work care about it.
Yep.
That's the frustrating part.
Yeah.
It's just there's
I am at Games Workshop. Just give him the big bucks.
You'll have the
But all
best
we can do,
spreadsheets,
again,
right?
as we said a few episodes ago, all we can do is keep talking about it, right? Keep talking about it, keep feeding it back, and those people that are taking your feedback can feed that back to higher ups, and maybe the competition start getting the respect they deserve, and the people start getting the respect they deserve that they're putting in. So, quickly, picks, favourites, predictions.
I don't want to psych a particular person
Go on,
out.
do it. We need a bit. I just if we this is cutthroat. This is gold, silver, bronze. This is this is all of this shit. So come on then. Who's walking? Who that you that you have seen, or even whose stuff you haven't seen but you know is going? Are you expecting to be a name in the ring?
Albert for sword, mate. Albert for sword.
We've spoken about his. Well, he's told me pieces about it, and he is going to absolute town. Like, even he's impressed himself with some of the things he's done.
I want to say that Albert did the large scale dwarf with a large pillar behind it. You remember that one massive piece, and that's a best of show piece. It's incredible. It's one of the best miniatures ever. It's just mental. And he took it to the World Model Expo, and he didn't win the best of show. They went with a historical piece, and that's where this should be best of fantasy, best of historical. So he just deserved a best of with that. And then at Monty, he was a judge, so he couldn't enter. So he just had that best of show piece, and he just really, really deserved it. So personally, I'd love to see him go for it and get the sword in the GD.
I think of all those sorts of the painters that are out there at the moment that are kind of what I would class as the top 1% painters, he's just doing things different. Not necessarily different, but he just feels like he's on another level. And the things that he's doing are all just like incredible. They have a bit of everything. And I think he's going to win the sword. I would assume he's going to win the sword because just for what he's capable of producing. And if he's saying that he's impressed himself with it, he's the loveliest, most humble guy on planet Earth. So if he's saying he's impressed himself, we're all fucked.
Okay, and you three are all entering, right?
Yeah.
For my sins.
So you're all confident, right? It's getting done on time.
I'm confident I'll bring something, but I don't think I've got a winner.
Yeah, there'll be something there. I'll enter something, but
yeah.
I mean,
I'll participate.
Yeah, I will be there. I haven't entered in 5 years, I think 4 or 5 years. I mean, I entered in the last one, but again, I tarted up a gaming Titan that I had been pissing around with and entered that. It wasn't a proper entry, but it was fun to enter and it was fun to get commended. It was really nice, and it did spark the interest again, which was really nice. Like being commended, so they bring you all into that little section, and all that was really good fun. And being there with my mates who won stuff was really good fun. But I'm sorry, I just read Darren's comment and it completely threw me off. But yeah, I'm entering for the first time in 5 years, so I've got no idea how it's going to go.
Okay,
I think it'll be the best thing. I think it'll be the best thing I've ever entered. But
well, that's huge.
Yeah,
it is.
So
that's awesome.
Even if I get nothing, I'll be happy with it.
And anyone we think might be the whole, oh my god, it's so and so with a steel chair coming in and taking out the sword. Any inklings? You think that's going to happen? You think it could happen with this?
That was Gavin, mate. That was Gavin in America.
Right.
Yeah. That was he was literally just like, hello, here's my entry. Fuck you. Yeah, he just came out of nowhere, right? So you can't predict a lot of stuff, but I don't know. I haven't seen loads on Instagram, and I think people are, I don't know if they're more or less secretive these days, like keeping their entries. You think more?
Oh, 100%.
Hasn't been enough time to do whip posts and just had to continue painting.
Another bit of secret.
I've got mine on there. Thank you, Matt. My whip post is once a week. You'll get a whip from me.
I reckon people will show up with stuff that we've not even seen, and we'll look at it, and we'll know who's painted it, and we'll look at it and we'll go like, holy shit, that's really good. I think there'll be more of that than we think. I really do. I don't know if it'll be the regular crowd of people, as in like the regular 1% that we've seen, but I reckon people we know will show up with some fantastic bits.
There's also those people that were, be polite here, that didn't get a ticket to last year's recent UK Golden Demon and were really quite upset about it. It would be great to see if they have managed to get one of the 1,000 tickets that was available for this one.
Well, Gareth was a big one.
And show up. Yeah, exactly, right. You've got a couple of names.
He's going to show up with stuff and he's going to win something with it.
But he's showing up with 3 years worth of stuff. So it's not,
But what if he doesn't want to go?
Yeah.
He didn't want to come last time. So this is the kind of he's got that amazing Warlock, an amazing Elrond, and he's just sitting on 2 golds there. But it's like, what if he's like, do you know what? Bank holiday in Manchester. Fuck that.
It.
Have I got a spare £70,000 to go to? Yeah.
That's definitely a barrier of entry, that Sunday into Monday. It's not fun, especially with the hotels hiking their prices up massively.
Yeah, so what if he can't be bothered with that? And then he's just sat there with these 3 winning pieces for 3 categories, and he's like, oh, Manchester. No.
Adds another one in, keeps going until he's got enough for each category, and just walks in and takes out the competition. Does an Angelo.
It is really interesting how things like outside influences, like things like where it is, what day it's on, all that can massively affect who walks away with those trophies. I don't know what it's got. It's going to be a weird
one. Cutthroat world of competitive figure skates. Sorry, not figure skating. Christian in the chat.
Finger painting.
Figure painting.
Competitive
there we go.
Paint slinging.
Right, can't wait. Super excited. We're going to be there on the Monday. We'll be having a little meet up around lunchtime. So keep an eye on socials for about that. But yeah, if you see us and you'd like to say hello, please do come and say hello. We'll be walking around with cameras and mics looking for people. If it's your first time entering, we'd love to talk to you about it. We'll have Andy on the pit lane with all the pros, making them feel awkward and talk about painting their figures as well. Yeah, plenty of coverage coming from us on that, which we are really, really looking forward to. So, is there anything else you want to talk about, GD?
Well, Christian just said Real Madrid is trashing Chelsea. Another example.
Christian's been saying a lot.
Spain beats England any day, and I'll have you know that Clayton got the win last time. We've got David and we've got Clayton, so
there we go.
We're all right.
All right for now.
Yeah,
10 years. I don't know. We'll be fine. We'll be just fine. Yeah, Rob. We'll have a big old cultist meet up on the Monday. Semi-official, fully official, I think it is. Anyway, keep an eye on social media for some announcements about that.
Get my things glued down to their bases soon.
Right,
I'll prime some stuff.
Me too.
Let's close it out. We thought this was going to be a really short show. This, Rob, continue the planning over on the Discord. That would be great, bud. If I could ever remember to actually use the Discord, but Todd and you lot over there are brilliant at it. So yeah, keep it going. But I'll endeavour to get on there. But we'll have an announcement about the meetup before anyway. So don't stress about it. Reaper Miniatures does everything you guys say is impossible for GW to do. I didn't think we said it was impossible for GW to do anything.
They get way more inches. They don't have the budget that it does.
I think unless that's just a bit of good for them. Great.
Good on
I think I said they shouldn't. I think I said impossible for taking photos of every single entry, and I still think that's too much personally.
Anyway. The amount of staff you would have to have is just not. It's not worth it. Like to do everything. It just takes them away from something else.
But definitely, we want photos are commended.
Yeah,
get them up on community. Let everybody ogle at these incredible miniatures that people have spent a fuck ton of time painting. So, Paint Cultists. Instagram, our Discord, you got Paint Cultists. There's 22,000, I think, something like that now. So if you fancy following a hashtag that will expose you to maybe miniatures you don't normally paint, or see painting styles that aren't. Hello, someone doing a bit of balloon animals there.
Every time you move.
I'm really uncomfortable today. It's the old wiggly.
It's not even a leather chair. That one, is it?
Leather bits in there, mate.
There we go. Yeah. Like that. Hashtag Paint Cultists. Yeah, go and check it out. And all I do for each show is pick a handful of ones that jumped out to me, and we take a quick look at them, and I can never remember which ones they are. So, what we got, Matt?
Start.
I know there's quite a few for this one.
Stripes.
Amazing name, amazing. Best URL, even better than Rich's.
Ignore them all. It's literally the best name.
Yeah.
I think this person sent me a meme, and I just said it was the best fucking Instagram handle I've ever seen in my entire life. I pride myself on my stupid name on Instagram. I saw it, I was like, "Fuck!" I'm so jealous to think they'd swap.
Yours is good for you. Like yours is funny in context for your personality. Yeah. This is just Brilliant. Perfection for everyone.
Yeah.
Dominic in the chat, a new hashtag we paint pairs. That will be a new subcategory that will be used as well. Oh yes, Salute Ross, of course. Yeah, we're very sad we won't be at Salute this year.
We weren't invited, were we? Because for the panel, they didn't want us in the panel.
We've been 10 years. I've gone 10 years in a row, and then COVID, and I haven't been back since. But next year we will 100% be there. So yeah, hope everyone has a wicked time there at the weekend. I hope you will be too. You keep banging on about having a stand there with miniatures on and stuff.
Oh, if we do a stand
there we go. Right, paint stripes on it. I'm there. Bit of rust.
Rust
Make it a halfling.
Isn't it?
Loads of grass.
It's just
short, hairy little man.
Love it. Mate. And it's the size of your pinky, or size of your thumbnail. So yeah, love it. This person's got a bunch of them like this. Like really, I could have picked a ton of different ones for them to use on this one. What's up next, mate?
Nice.
I had to stick this in for a bit of backdrop. We haven't had some backdrop love for a while.
Dan's in the chat, I reckon, as well.
There we go. Let's get it back in. Scott, I'm pretty sure I've got this album somewhere.
Is it Winter Sun or something like that?
Big vibes, right? Yeah.
Winter Madness.
That's great.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone paint the Aurora Borealis in a miniature before, and I like it.
It's just cool. It's very Warhammer. I like it a lot.
It is metal as fuck, isn't it?
Also underrated mini because there's
absolutely
a billion other minis coming out at the same time, and then this.
When did that even come out?
The other day,
couple months back. It was when they got their book again. They got the little clan pack character.
Who the fuck can keep on
I think maybe the same time as the Caradon one. I don't know. It was recently anyway. But yeah, just a lovely little.
Riders.
If you could make a Beastman army just out of clan pack characters, then you'd be all right. But yeah, it's wicked.
Yeah, Tom's message in the chat. Yes, everyone do that.
I'm bringing my old crap from Chicago.
But yes, there'll be plenty of minis and stuff to show up.
The skin.
I would, but I would have. But I don't have anything good to look at, so I'm only going to bring the one good thing I've painted lately, which is my dress.
Right, what's up next?
Yes,
Ken for president.
Really like the colours on this one. Like
honestly, so our mate Ken painted this, and he's in our group chat.
Oh yeah.
And he's the most like shady, fucking prolific painter on planet Earth. And he goes, "Oh boys, just painted this 2,000 point Tau army in the last 2 weeks, and it all looks like that."
All right, boys, I've done a Tau army.
Also, the meanest person on planet Earth to play against. He's like, "I've got this really fun nid list. You'll last 2 turns if you're lucky."
Well, yeah. I mean that's a lot more to unpack there, Rich, than I thought. But I just like the pretty colours, and I forgot that this was Ken's tag. Yeah, love it.
It's great, though, isn't it?
Tau lend themselves, don't they, to? But I can't recall seeing this one. It's you basically just look through the flipping Adidas collections thing and just take your pick, don't you? And you come up with something cool.
It's very good.
Comic book style. It's just super cool. So yeah, definitely worth following this. They'll all be in the description. Anything we feature was popped down in the description. But yeah, as the guys have said, it's a lot of new stuff very, very regularly from this account. So it's not a sleeper one. What we got next?
Got his name right this week.
Will Pants. Will Pants.
Love this. Love this, like, a lot.
See, them I'd have up in my flat, like
Yeah.
hanging up on the wall.
This whole Brian Froud kind of vibes, like
I want
just
them-
that whole.
I want them on
books
my
on
front door,
front.
like a
yeah,
church
door.
gargoyles.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, like a labyrinth.
Yeah.
Is this the current Kickstarter from Zabarat? Is it going on right now? I think.
Was this the one with the mushrooms?
I think
this
ended.
is a new one. Which is it? Because they're all
might-
painting them now. I've seen a few, so I think it's a new. Is it a
Possibly.
new Kickstarter? It's recent. I know. Look at Zabarat anyway, and also have to shout Will out for having the best follower celebration videos on the internet. So when he got 25,000 followers, it's probably the best video I've ever seen, to be honest. So
Oh, I need to watch it now.
keep those coming, Will. They're the best.
Okay, go have a watch. A couple more, is it, Matt?
I was going to say, I love what he's done with the ears inside, all the little veins. Works so well.
It's super, isn't it?
So there are 3 more.
3 more. Let's get them out. Ah, here we got the recent crowd reacting to the old world announcement there.
Give it another 10
Just
years.
a lovely bit of grime, yeah. It's a flipping ancient model, but
God, it is.
I don't know, just something about it. It's just
More time style.
Yeah, it's just got that. I am very excited about the old world, us getting new things for the old world, new artwork, new maps, new stories.
New high elves.
And it just, maybe new miniatures, I don't know. But it's just made me.
You two.
It's just got me super excited. Like of all their settings, it's absolutely one of my favourites. Probably my favourite. And just to think that we're going to get some new things, say new stories, new artwork and stuff coming for it is very, very exciting. And I think this paint job captures what I picture in my head when I'm reading those stories a lot of the time. It's better
Yes, on the-
Stormcast.
which is what I want to paint. Like. That's the only reason I paint stuff for me.
Unfortunate peasants.
Yeah, yeah. There you go. He's 2 more, I think.
Yep.
Whoa.
Oh, that's real cool.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah,
Just-
lovely
that's
clear
sick.
colours.
Just
That face is amazing.
Nice bit
now
of
I've
fur.
noticed the name. I think this might have been the
It's the
account that had the
same-
crab the other week
Same person, yeah.
on the sand.
Yeah.
Is he?
Nice,
Oh.
nice. But yeah, just lovely. No idea what the sculpt is. It doesn't.
A
I know it
minotaur.
sounds silly with no
Bless my
with no
soul.
context. It looks really
Minotaur.
small. Like, do you know what I mean? It might be massive. Who knows?
Big horns.
But bigger horns, yeah. But yeah, super. Just really love it. Like, I don't know. Just some of the face is really, it draws you in, doesn't it?
It's really well painted. It's really nicely painted.
Just laughing at Rich because I've heard you say that turn of phrase like 50 million times.
And now it's actually in
Bless my soul, a minotaur.
bless
I don't know.
my soul. A minotaur.
And one more. Oh, there we go. Bust from Yedharo Models.
Wow, that's a bright colour. I'm here for it.
And here we go. Yes.
Fucking hell. You wouldn't lose those minis on a board, I tell
This
you
is
that.
it. That's what I'm talking about. No more fucking around. Right.
Let's go. I've got a thing for bright miniatures at the moment. Bright
Yeah.
power armor at the moment.
There you go.
It looks
This
great.
is how we do it. This is how we do it now.
Let's have a look around here, boys.
I think it works great. I think it's absolutely fab.
Is that pink?
And it's an army. It's a collection. It's
Good work.
so just love it.
Is that
Great
pink or
accounts for
purple?
it as well.
What colour is it?
Is it
Magenta.
Magenta, yeah.
Purple.
I can't
It's
see
like
it.
as if the magenta's not enough. Like give it that full-on blue on the gun casings as well. Yeah, love
Love
it.
it.
Love. So if you want to check them and another 21,800 other odd pictures out, go and check out that hashtag. And as ever, if you want to get in touch with us, if you think there's an account we should take a look at, if there's a competition, if there's a show going on, if there's some models, if there's some paints, whatever you think we should be aware of, and we might not be, just always feel free to get in touch with us. Memes, send them to Rich. Army of test models. I'm tired of them now, like, because none of them are to do with painting.
Mate.
So yeah.
I love them. Keep them coming.
So
Keep them coming. The filthier the better.
He'll be fine, and then we'll just see them all anyway. We'll filter them through Rich. But yeah, I think 10 days to go. Very, very excited. We'll all see you there. Thanks ever so much for joining me, chaps. It's been another good one. We will see you again at Fest, and then very soon after Fest. Yeah, you all need to get back on the work. I'll be cheering for you. You'll be fine, mate. You'll be fine. Not now,
all
maybe,
good.
Rich. Maybe not right now, but have a kip,
You're
get
right.
on it. You and me. I said, as long as you bring the biscuits and pop for the drive up, well,
Yeah.
I'll get you there. All right. Or a big bag of Doritos. We'll be absolutely fine, mate. I'll get you there on time. I'll get you to the ball.
Let's go.
Let's
Let's go.
Kick the door in, bob it in, get to the bar.
I'll be painting the fucking thing in the car on the way up.
It's very comfy. You'll be
the
fine.
one thing I'm not looking forward to. It's a solo drive up there. Sucks.
Mate, you'll be fine.
You'll be fine, mate. You'll be fine.
There is a pint in Manchester with my fucking name on it already.
There we go.
Can't wait for them the most.
So hopefully we'll all see you there. Chaps, thanks ever so much for joining me. And as ever, if you're watching this video back, hit like, subscribe, share. It might not seem much, but it makes a massive difference to us. And the biggest thanks, as ever, to you lot in the chat. You're amazing. You're mega. You're better every time we do the show. Keep it coming, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.